5 seconds. My dear physicians, the poor state of health services in India, especially public health services available to the common people, is well known. So, the findings of the study done by the world's leading medical journal, the Lancet, which do not show India's healthcare facilities in a good light, may not surprise anyone. The survey, undertaken and written by renowned international experts, is to be published in the forthcoming issue of the journal. The editor in chief of the journal has, in an interview, criticized the government for not taking health care seriously. He wants India to take health as an issue of national security, but finds that there are no new policies, ideas, public commitment, or necessary financial support to the health sector. He has warned that India's economy will become unsustainable when increasing population combines with poor health services. India spends only about 1% of its gross domestic product on public health, while other countries spend even multiples of that. The allocations, low as they are not well spent with wrong priorities and corruption taking away much from their utility, reducing child and maternal health mortality, prevention of communicable diseases, access to basic and affordable health facilities for even the poorest, and availability of specialized attention whenever needed are important requirements of a sound health care policy. But the country's record on them is not creditable. Moreover, the contrast between the lack of investment in the public health system and the unregulated growth of the public health sector, which creates an imbalance and works against the interests and needs of the common people. The government has tried to counter the criticism by denying all points made by the editor, but its claims are not convincing. Marginal improvements in certain areas do not mean a general improvement in healthcare. It is true that some initiatives have been taken and they may continue, but they are not enough. Anyone living in India would rather agree with the editor than with the government on the issue. More importantly, there is a clear perception that healthcare has slipped in the government's priorities. Some of the magazine's contentions are supported by the findings of other agencies. Unfortunately, the government tends to see them as part of as international conspiracy to create political controversies. But no country can aspire for good days if it ignores public health. However, in a yet another aspect, that is India Africa ties touch with a new high. Government deserves highness. In fact, the just concluded India Africa summit at New Delhi was a resounding success. In terms of scale, this was the biggest of the three summits held so far, compared to the 2011 summit that saw participation of only 5 countries, 41 heads of state and government, and over 1,000 delegates from all Africa's 54 countries came for the Delhi meet. The increased participation is heartening as it signals Africa's growing interest in engaging with India. In New Delhi, India reiterated its commitment to the continent's development with the Prime Minister. However, there is a reason for concern. Almost 90% of African investment in India comes from one country, Mauritius, a tax haven. Besides, the nature of trade has triggered some unease in Africa. While much of Africa's exports to India consist of raw materials such as crude oil, gold, and diamonds, India's exports to the continent are largely high-end consumer goods. In addition, Indian companies are investing in African land to grow cash crops for export. This is undermining Africa's food security. It has triggered criticism of India's neo-colonial relationship with Africa's as its approaches are unfair and emanate largely from envious Western countries. No doubt Africa is an important market for the Indian pharmaceutical industry, but low-priced Indian drugs have benefited African masses. Importantly, India has focused on capacity building in Africa. While importing rough diamonds, for instance, it has engaged in capacity building there, helping it move up the value chain in the diamond business. Still, India needs to tread carefully as it sets out to match China's enormous clout in Africa's. It must bear in mind that principles rather than profits alone. Dear Mr. Bhaskar, thank you very much for your immediate response by way of fast smile communic by quoting your rates in connection with performing a puja and to cater food needs to the proposed invitees numbering 100. First of all, your quote that rupees 220 per plate is itself a little costlier. Please let me know, is there any relaxation on this issue? In addition to this, I would request you to clarify some of the points which you have not mentioned in your offer, maybe by oversight. Whether tables, chairs, use and throw plates, tumblers, paper rolls, and banana are included in the package amount. Also, let me know, are you proposing to serve the drinking water to the invitees with 500 milliliter packed water bottles? Whether cloth covering surrounding the eating area, including top, is also included in your proposed rate? Will it be possible to serve the food on plantain leaf instead of user friendly plates? Can you include another sweet for serving in addition to the one you have already agreed without charging extra? Will it be possible to serve the food with uniform by your team? If so, is there any extra cost to be included in the proposed rate? What precautions you propose to take to serve the food hot? Please let me know. In fact, your name has become a nickname for the delicious food and memorable functions. There are quite a good compliments that without Bhaskar, function is not a complete one. So I am eager to have your acceptance at an early date. Please also let me know what amount to be advanced in case you accept the proposal. Also, let us meet and finalize the deal. Thanking you in advance. Yours very truly.